Donald Trump's attack on speech is not just an effort to quell and stop dissent outside of his administration. It's also happening from within. Donald Trump is sharing fewer and fewer data points about his struggling economy. His stories do not appear on any other network but Fox, and he himself is not engaging with the media as much. Why? Because Donald Trump does not want us knowing what's happening in his White House. Because it's criminal, it's corrupt, or it's crumbling our economy. Which is why Donald Trump just had to make a shock cancellation in an effort to hide. And we are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you have not already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now before we get into what Donald Trump just had to abruptly cancel, I wanna start with the speech that he is trying to cancel outside of his administration, which was called out by Senator Charis Murphy right here.
Comey, the former FBI director, Letitia James. It sounds like he is directly ordering his attorney general to prosecute his enemies.
This is one of the most dangerous moments America has ever faced. We are quickly turning into a banana republic. The President of the United States is now employing the full power of the federal government, the FCC, the Department of Justice, in order to punish, lock up, take down off the air all of his political enemies. As you know, this is what happens in Iran. This is what happens in Cuba. This is what happens in China, in deeply repressive states in which if you have the courage to stand up and speak truth to power, you are silenced. I mean, there is no more fundamental right in America than the right to protest your government. And the question today is, when is enough for Republicans? I was very glad to see Ted Cruz stand up and say what is simply true. It is unconstitutional and deeply immoral for the president to jail or to silence his political enemies. And it will come back and boomerang on conservatives and Republicans at some point if this becomes the norm. But next week, we need every Republican in the Senate, in the House, not only speaking up, but going to Donald Trump and telling him that they are not going to let him get away with this massive new contraction of speech. This is a decisive moment for the country. It is a decisive moment for Republicans who have to decide to preserve this core.
We have to keep in mind that this is a multi-pronged approach by Donald Trump. We first saw it start with him quite literally boxing out an entire media outlet in the AP if they did not agree to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. It was idiotic, and that was kind of the point, to make it seem silly, stupid, and not as sinister as it was. Now Donald Trump is going directly to media outlets and pressuring them into cancelling host. Will it be Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel? Donald Trump is applying a direct pressure. Now the next step is for these media outlets to operate by themselves, afraid of Trump and trying to move in advance of any pressure from the White House. The real intimidation is when they succumb to your pressure without you even having to put it on them. That's what Donald Trump is doing, and it's why so many outlets are terrified of covering him or speaking out, even though he sees it completely differently. Still, that everyone in his world is mean all the time.
People, about 97% of the things they say about me on television are negative. And, you know, how do you win if that's the case? And the credibility of television's way down, most television. You guys are doing a lot better. I disagree with your pollsters because I've always proven to be right on that. I would say your pollsters, I don't think your pollsters are any good on Fox, but generally speaking, and the anchors are, in every case, they're phenomenal. But you don't have that with other networks.
Alright, so Donald Trump is being a whiny little fucking baby about the fact that everyone hates him. What's new about that? Well, it's not just that Donald Trump is complaining about outside coverage that's expected. It's what he is upset with inside his own administration. It's why we saw the BLS commissioner lose their job, because Donald Trump was unhappy about facts pertaining to his terrible economy. But the latest measure that Donald Trump has taken, maybe the most shock cancellation is the word we must use yet, not only runs counter to the idea that he cares about free speech, but the main component of his campaign, affordability, and we see it in this report right here. Trump administration cancels the annual hunger survey. The government has been measuring food insecurity since the mid-1990s, but now says the report has become overly politicized. The Trump administration is ending a decades-long effort to track food security at a time when many Americans are struggling to get proper nutrition or eat enough. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said Saturday it was terminating the annual household food security reports, which were introduced in the 1990s to help state and federal officials decide on food assistance programs. The latest USDA report, published in September last year, found some 18 million US households were food insecure at some time during 2023, a million more than in 2022. These redundant, costly, politicized, and extraneous studies do nothing more than fearmonger, the Department of Agriculture said in a statement. The decision to cancel the reports was first reported by the Wall Street Journal and comes as the department was set to release its 2024 survey data. The Trump administration has previously cracked down on other government departments over data it considers to be politically motivated. The former commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics was ousted after revised data showed lower job growth numbers in May and June. Donald Trump criticized her as Biden appointed, overseeing what he falsely called fake jobs numbers. Okay, let's unpack some of the language that was just used because it is astonishing. They think this administration that talking about children going hungry is overtly political. Do you know who that is overly political? Two people who do not care about children starving, which clearly this administration does not mind you. The great patrons and who are honoring today Charlie Kirk said that food insecurity for children does not exist in America, although millions of kids go hungry every day. By the way, the number one indicator of a child's performance in school is not some bigoted argument that Charlie Kirk would probably come up with. He had probably say this. That disgusting. Fuck, sorry. But it's true. The real number one indicator of whether or not a child is going to be successful in school is if they had breakfast that day, if they got to have lunch, if they were not starving through school. What do Republicans say? You are 11 years old, get a job. What? Half the time you should be working, half the time you should be learning. That is what they think. That is what these people believe. They think. Democrats saying, I do not know, maybe we should feed our damn kids is political. We cannot have conversation with these people. They are so separated from reality. They lack humanity in a way that is just so disgusting. And they are throwing it in our faces. It is a waste of money to see how many children are starving and how we can combat that. How we can combat food insecurity is a waste of money. And why is this? It is because Donald Trump's administration began with the conversation about the price of eggs that Trump could not stop talking about on the campaign trail. And now he does not care. When was the last time we talked about affordability in this administration? When I cannot remember. Because Donald Trump does not care. He fundamentally does not, which is why. And this is gonna feel like a pivot. So please stick around. But this is why this clip from Joe Manchin I now feels like it's out of left field. You are gonna wanna stick around is so important to me.
And I'm asking the Democratic Party, you better start looking at how you lost people like me. I've been a Democrat all my life. I'm fiscally responsible and socially compassionate, Brett, and I come from West Virginia. And now I can't even identify with the far left ideology.
So thanks to watching my show. And if you wanna support that as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments, and until next time I will see you soon.